Hey guys, so welcome to the Q&A, my first Q&A that I'm going to be posting on YouTube. Woohoo! Yay, one clap for 1 year on Patreon. If I make it to next year, then I'll do 2 claps for 2 years. Yeah, but that's the reason why I made this Q&A, to celebrate 2 years on... Good grief. To celebrate 1 year on Patreon. And I decided to start Patreon in possibly the worst year in the history of the world. Obviously didn't know, nobody knew that was all gonna happen during this year, all the craziness. But I had to just jump with both feet in, and I'm really glad I did. It's been relatively successful, you know, on a very, very small scale. And I just want to thank my patrons for supporting what I do and sort of laying out the groundwork of something I've wanted to do for a very, very long time. I mean, for years. So thank you so much for your support, and I would not be where I'm at right now as far as as motivated and just passionate about what I do if it wasn't for you guys. So, because it's just hard to push through the health issues I have and just with no sort of compensation or, you know, some sort of appreciation for it. Not that I necessarily need it, it's just nice. So thank you so much. It means the absolute world to me. So on Instagram, I asked you to send me your questions. Any questions really. It could be art related or just personal questions. And thank you so much for submitting your questions. I'm going to answer them now. And we have about 9, I believe. So that's good. Thank you so much for your help with that. And let's start with the first question. So the first question is, what has been your favorite and or most rewarding part of your art journey? P.S. Congrats on 1 year. Thank you so much. Let's see. The most rewarding part has been... Let me think about this. My favorite part has been learning, seeing the growth and learning that what I want to do is totally possible, within the realm of possibility, and is it's not that odd, but also you can make a living off of doing that. So the things that I encountered as a child that I thought, oh, that looks cool. And obviously if there's a show about it, or if there's a manga about it, or a book about it, or a comic, that means that there are other people out there in the world who like the same types of things and create these types of things and enjoy them. So for me, the most rewarding part has been developing into the person I wanted to be as a kid now, and just pursuing those things that I enjoy, but also learning that more about myself through it and what my tastes are. So I think that's been my favorite and most rewarding part. So thank you for that question. That was a great question. Hopefully I answered it okay. There's so much more I could say about it, but I'm trying to keep it nice and succinct. So here is the second question. I know it's not the type of questions that people like, but how old are you? Or let us guess. So it's fine, it's not an offensive question. But I'm gonna let you try to guess. Now, just because you guess does not mean I'm going to give you an answer. The reason why I'm doing this is because it's funny to me how people have never been able to nail my age. So when I was working a full-time job and I'm behind the counter and people, you know, ask me, are you the manager? And I would say no. Or they'd be like, are you married? Do you have children? And I would say no. Just the regular worker here. And that's when I started realizing that people really cannot tell how old I am, because one minute I may seem like a really little kid, preteen, not preteen, like a teenager. Geez, preteen, that would be weird. And then the next minute I may seem like an adult with family. So the fact that you asked this means that if I can afford for people not to know my age, then I probably will take that route. So you can guess, and we'll just see how close you get. Not that I'm going to tell you, because it's more fun that way. So have fun guessing. All right, next question. Question 3 is, in a perfect world, what is your dream job? Let's see, because knowing myself, when you say in a perfect world, I'm just gonna get all existential and be like, well, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Like, perfect world, what would that be like? Because it doesn't exist, and it, you know, so I'm just thinking, in a perfect world, I guess my dream job would be someone, sort of what I'm pursuing right now. So it's funny that you asked that. Really, what I've always wanted to do is to get paid to just draw what I want to draw. So one of the reasons or ways that I would pursue that, I guess, is if someone was like, hey, can you draw a character with this color hair, this color skin, and these color eyes or something, and I'll pay you for it. And now I know that's a possibility, right? It's just that I can't take commissions. So if I could, that's what I would do. I would be like a character generator. So where someone's like, hey, I'm having this idea with this character, and can you bring that to life? And that is technically a job. It's character design. So I guess that's my dream job, and I've mentioned that before in a previous AMA I hosted on Instagram. So yeah, character design I guess would be my job, but it wouldn't be as, you know, scheduled and rigorous as like an actual character design job where things are under NDA and you can't really share all of your work and things of that sort. So I guess character design would be the job. It would be character design on my own pace. You know what I mean? Hopefully I answered that well. Thank you for the question. It was a good question. Thank you. Okay, we've got question 4 is, how long does a typical drawing take to create? So I have sort of answered this question before in another AMA I hosted on Instagram. Now that was about a year or so ago. So since then, I'm not only drawing larger scale things, but I'm also faster than I was, but I'm drawing in a completely different way. So I would say, let's think of my most recent one I did was Surge. Sorry, I'm itchy. The most recent one I did was Surge, and I take very frequent breaks, and I no longer work for hours and hours and hours on end. So a work day for me could be like 3 to 4 hours, and then I take a break, and then maybe I can go back for like 2 to 3 hours, but that's only if I can. And that's over a span of like a few days most of the time, at the most a week. The longest I'll take is like 2 weeks. So it really just depends, but I would say on average, I'm assuming like under 10 hours, I'm assuming. Because when I started recording my time lapses, it's about 4 hours worth of footage, I think, but then I cut it down, but this is also over a period of days, so it's hard to say, but I definitely don't take as long as I make it sound, as I make it out to be. Like when I'm drawing, I'm like, oh my goodness, I take forever. Everything I do, I'm really slow. It's very much like 0 to 100. I'm either being really slow or I'm being super fast, and for me, super fast is different for everyone. So it really just depends, but I would say on average, like under 10 hours, at least. Thank you for the question. It was a good question. Okay, next question. What are your muses as an artist? If it isn't anything in particular, what else motivates you to create art? So I don't have muses. Definitely have motivations. Absolutely. Thank you for the question. So what motivates me to create work is it's very self-expression oriented. So it's very much about what I'm feeling, what I like, what I want to see that probably has been done, but I just haven't seen it yet. So an example would be, so when I'm listening to the music on my Spotify playlist, I love my Spotify playlist, so the music is very often inspiring. And the most recent drawing I did, which again I'll mention is Surge, done plenty of other things, it's just that was the most recent thing. that was inspired by a song on my playlist called Into the Dark by Kai, and I did post the lyrics to it in the original post on Instagram as the caption. And very often music inspires me. If I see a color palette on Pinterest, that'll inspire me. And then other than that, a lot of the time it's just my own ideas that pop up into my head, and I have a phone memo full of ideas and a long list, and what's great about leaving them in my phone memo is that when I'm done with that idea, I cross it out. So fortunately, it's very motivating to cross off ideas off my list, and also it's just satisfying to go back and look, and when I'm uninspired or I don't have an idea, I just look at that list and I'm like, oh, here's an idea I can do, and then I go to Pinterest and I'm like, what colors can I use? And really there's an infinite amount of combinations and ways to do that when you incorporate music, colors, and my phone memo ideas. So that is the main motivations. Also expressing my thoughts and feelings with my mental health. I have a long history of, mental health issues and nightmares, chronic nightmares, and I have PTSD. So drawing, I started just making myself draw those things out, which has been very therapeutic, and it's also opened a new segue for me of, this might be my thing, my art thing. So yeah, that's my motivation, which would be self-expression, having fun, and getting out ideas, because I'll constantly have ideas jumbled in my brain and I just have to get them out so I can move on to other things. So yeah, great question, thank you. Hopefully I did your question justice with my answer. And next question is, what's some advice you would give your younger self about your art journey ahead of time? Oh boy. Alright, so there's again such a great in-depth question. What I would tell myself is that, first of all, I've said this before, I just don't remember where. What you're doing now is the best you can do, and it's the right thing. Just keep doing that. Which is, you're not a sketchbook person. You never have been. You do not have to be a sketchbook person. You can just draw. I mean, in the art community, they like to give, helpful tips and, learning, things, advice and tips and rules and regulations sometimes. Sometimes it can get a little bit rigid, and I do understand that. It's just that not everyone is the exact same way. Not everyone has the same, process and mental interworking, and they do things differently. Their chemicals are different from each other. So do what you're doing now. Keep practicing, even if you think it looks stupid. Draw all the things you're drawing. So I would practice in various subjects. It could be animals. It could be realism and realistic people. It could be comedy stuff or whatever it could be. Just keep doing those things, because it's going to lead you to where you need to be, and that can change at any time. It doesn't have to stay the same. So just keep doing what you're doing, and there will be a time where not only you will be able to appreciate what you do, because at the time you do, but it's just not what you want it to be. But other people will surprisingly be like, hey, I like what you do. And even if it's only like 6 people, that's great. That's awesome. So don't be so, you're actually, you weren't that much of a baby about it, but don't be so discouraged. At the end of the day, my past self had so much passion for what I did. Nothing was going to stop me from doing it. So really, it was just about me figuring out the direction I wanted to go in. So that is what I would tell my past self. The direction you're going in is fine. You'll figure it out eventually. And everything will fall into place. So thank you for that question. I have no idea if I mumble or if I just, ramble on is what I meant to say, but hopefully that was clear enough. That's what I would tell my past self. And Question 7 is, when did you start to draw and what pushed you to do so? I started drawing when I was a toddler, like most artists do. And at first it was just, this is just what kids do, and then I saw maybe Disney movies. My favorite Disney movie is Bambi. When I first saw Bambi, I'm thinking, oh, this is so cool how they made animals into like semi-realistic characters. And I'm thinking, that's so awesome, and I know that adults made this. So again, there's a whole nother world out there of creative voices and inspirations, and that to me as a kid was so cool, because that was, the Disney stuff was the more normal things, but there are so many other things, right, that people consider abnormal. So after the movie was done, I watched that movie so many times. I still have the very original VHS that we first bought, that my parents got us when we were kids. There's after credits stuff of the process of making the movie, and it is so cool. They're showing you how they painted on glass, and they would slide the panes of glass in front of each other and behind each other to create dimension in the shot as they were shooting, and how they were doing the animations and drawing cell by cell or frame by frame. And as a kid, I was fascinated. I'm thinking, this is so cool. And then you go with the Disney artists. I forget the classic artists' names, people who worked there for decades, and they're just drawing these characters out so routinely and so cleanly, and I'm thinking, oh, that's so cool, and it looks so cool, and I'm just thinking, that's what I want to do. And it wasn't exactly in that vein, but it was, I just wanted to do that. I just wanted to draw those types of things and just draw characters and something fun or bring something to life. And seeing the behind the scenes process of that movie is what inspired that a lot. And also, so the Bambi movie was a huge catalyst for me. And then when I was a preteen, I would watch Sonic X every morning on 4Kids TV. I have talked about this before. Love Sonic. And I would grab a bowl of cereal at like 7 or 8 in the morning, run down the stairs and catch the new episode of Sonic X. And to me, that was also another eye-opening experience to where I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this stuff exists, and grown people make this as their job, and it's normal and it's cool, and that must be the most fun thing, that you become an adult, yet you can still enjoy these things. It was so cool to me. And so that was the huge... What did you ask me? Sorry, I forgot the part of the question. That was the, yeah, that's what pushed me. That was a huge stepping stone for me, and that self-discovery of what I wanted to do. So yeah, thank you for your question. So I got a little sidetracked there. These are all great questions. Thank you so much for these. All right, next question we've got, what is your dream job, including jobs that may or may not exist? So I did go over my actual dream job, which is character design. So a dream job that doesn't exist. Okay, I've got to branch out of the realistic mindset that I have. So I guess for me it would be, I don't know. I've never thought of a dream job that doesn't exist. Because there's, again, as you get older, as a kid, you're thinking, oh, you know, the adult life, I'm sure there's some allure, but you lose certain things. But really, you can retain a lot as an adult. I don't know, honestly. That's a really crazy question. I'll have to think about that. I might come back to that one. Yeah, let me come back to that one. We'll go to the next question and I'll come back to that because I want to give an answer because it's a good question. And the next question is, who are your favorite artists and why? So this is also something I've answered on an AMA, but I don't mind, it's fine. It's buried in like a highlight. I'm sure no one goes through that. So my two, I guess, favorite artists are going to be 𝓈𝑒𝓃 on Instagram and Twitter, but mostly Instagram, and then 𝓈𝑒𝓃 on Instagram. And I love them both for their own unique reasons. So for 𝓈𝑒𝓃, her art is sort of in a vein of what I was experimenting with years ago, and I just discovered it wasn't for me, because for me there are so many possibilities of like clothing design and patterns and materials, and for me that's overwhelming. Like, there are too many options, whereas she takes that to such the next level. It suits her work perfectly. You can tell it's what she enjoys doing, and I love the clothing design she makes. I love the way she draws unique hairstyles. The subject matter is always interesting, whether it could be the pattern of her clothes or the pose of the character, or just the expressions maybe. It just looks great, and she's got the inky lines and the line art, which is great, and it's just her voice comes through so strong, whether she's doing digital or traditional. It just is awesome. I love her work. So it's like, she does the type of work that I enjoy but won't do myself. It's just great. And then 𝓈𝑒𝓃 is great because, just like with 𝓈𝑒𝓃, to where they sort of just do what they want to do, 𝓈𝑒𝓃 is the same way, and I love the way that they render. Like, it has this prismatic almost look sometimes, and the way they use color just looks so nice all the time. I love the way they draw hair. I love the way they draw bodies and just expressive characters. And their style just really comes through. The minute you see 𝓈𝑒𝓃's work, you know it's hers. The minute you see 𝓈𝑒𝓃's work, you know that it's hers. It just looks great, and it's super unique, both of them, and I just absolutely love it. So they both have sort of sides of art that I considered doing and decided not to, and they are just the masters of their own craft, and I think it's great and it's awesome, and I love their work. I love seeing it. So thank you for that question. They're my two favorites. That would be the last question from you guys. I'm still reeling over this. What is your dream job, including jobs that may or may not exist? I don't know. I want to be spontaneous and think of this. That's why I won't let it go. Maybe if, like, everything I'm thinking of exists. What am I supposed to pick? Maybe, why don't you guys answer that question in the comments too? If you had a dream job, what's your dream job, including jobs that may or may not exist? Because this is interesting to me that I can't think of something. I just don't know why I can't think of something. Everything I'm thinking of exists. What I'm thinking of is like, okay, clothing design. I love clothing design. That's another dream job I would do if I could. And then I thought of, what if like someone paid you to like draw on their clothes? I'm like, that exists. People do that. And then I thought of, what if someone paid you to go hang out with animals? And I'm like, I'm sure that exists, because I would do that. If someone's like, hey, we just want to pay you to go hang out with these handicapped animals, or to just go spend time with them because they're lonely. Hands down, I would say, sure, yeah, I do that. That's a dream job I would do, but I'm sure it exists. And then I thought of something else where it's like, okay, what if someone paid you to go on sleigh rides? Like, they needed someone to go on a sleigh ride. I don't know why I thought of that, but to me, that's something I would do. I'd say, hey, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, is that even a job? And if it does, it exists. I'm telling you, it probably does. In this world, there's so many different things you can do now. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you guys have a dream job that you would want that does not exist. Maybe you can give me some inspiration, because I don't know. I'm really stuck on that question. but I wanted to answer it because I thought it was cool. And because normally I'm pretty creative, but at the same time I'm very much a realist, so that question like threw me for a loop, and I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Oh, maybe another one I could do? Okay, I just thought of something. So like, what if phoenixes existed, right? And what if you could like be a phoenix trainer? Or like a phoenix rider, you know what I'm saying? Is anyone there? Anyway, maybe that's a dream job I could do that didn't exist, or, you know, whatever. So, anyway, those are all the questions that I got. As far as I know, I might go back and check Instagram again to see if anyone asked, because the sticker might still be up. But as far as I know, that's it for the questions. I just want to say thank you to everyone who not only helped me get some questions for this video that I wanted to try out, but I do want to thank my patrons so much for sticking with me this 1 year. And I know that some of my patrons did have to cancel because of everything, even before everything that happened in 2020, they had to cancel like right before everything went down for completely unrelated reasons. So I just want to say thank you for even to those who had to cancel. I just appreciate you even taking the time to support what I do. You guys have no idea how much it means to me when I see, you know, a like or a comment or just something, anything, because trying to live my life and work through all the illnesses I have, and you know, the lack of, I haven't had a job in over 4 years, and I do not make money except for from Patreon, and that was a recent thing. Before then I didn't make money unless someone felt the need to just donate to my coffee, which again, thank you to those who have donated through there too, because other than that I don't make money at all. So going like over 4 years without having any funds, any finances, I can't work a job, I can barely draw for myself. That's why I don't take commissions, because I genuinely can't. I can barely draw my personal illustrations. So also right now I have a fever, and it must have just come up from making this video because I'm talking. That it's just, so it means the world to me that there is an avenue in which I can potentially make funds from doing what I like doing. I really push myself to try new things and stretch my creative muscles. And again, that's hard because I can barely move my muscles in the morning when I wake up. So it means the world to me that you're here. Let me know if you would like more videos like this, because I do have another idea of one I could do. That's if people are interested in this one. So comment below what your favorite or what your dream job that doesn't exist would be, and then comment if you would want to see either more Q&A stuff, or the next video I had in mind was just going over my old artwork, and it could be my old sketchbooks or my old digital art. It all just depends on what you guys would be interested in. So yeah, thank you so much guys for everything, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Just remember that there are time lapses on my YouTube channel. You can go check those out. And I also have my most recent time lapse for my most recent illustration Surge is done, and it's up on Patreon. Currently it doesn't have any views. No one's gained access to see it. So if you'd like to see it, it's on Patreon. I'll put links for everything in my socials below, meaning my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook, and all of that. And I just want to say thank you so much for 1 year on Patreon. I hope this was fun. This is my way of celebrating with you guys, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. See you later!